Good evening, everyone. In this video, I want to tell about plant conservation. In my video, I use the material from KBI Botani-Universitas Indonesia, Mega Atria 2019. This video is my last task in course in my class university in kelas 3A in course Konservasi Tumbuhan Alam Hayati in Faculty of Forestry, Universitas Sumatera Utara. Before I start my presentation, let me introduce myself first. My name is Zepanya Sihombing, NIM 2012-01177. And now I want to talk about my presentation with the title Konservasi Tumbuhan. The importance of biodiversity. Biodiversity is being lost at an unpredicted rate. Biodiversity loss matter. The loss of biodiversity affected by causal factors like population, consumption, and resource efficiency. Resource efficiency affect indirect drivers like agriculture and forestry, fishing and hunting, urban and industry, water use, and energy and transport. As we know, energy and transport affect for direct pressure on biodiversity and ecosystem, like habitat loss, alteration, and fragmentation, who affect to overexploitation and invasive species, who affect pollution, and the last in climate change. As we know, climate change is state of global biodiversity, like terrestrial, freshwater, and marine. As we know, the benefits of ecosystem service for us as the people obtains from ecosystem like provisioning service like food, medicine, timber, fiber, and bioenergy. And next is regulation service like water filtration, water decomposition, climate regulation, crop pollution regulation of some human disease. Like, and the next is supporting service like natural cycling, photosynthesis, and soil formation, and cultural service like enriching, recreation, aesthetic, and spiritual. Why the conservation of rare plant is important? As we know, the benefits of biodiversity is so much for our life. And I have, for example, of the benefits of biodiversity in our life, like in ecosystem. If we lost the of biodiversity at any level, could lead to ecosystem instability. Example, if we lost the canid species, it is affected to all the part of the ecosystem. And the next in agriculture, has resistancy commercial use like babasus palm, who gives more oil than coconut and could be used for cooking, etc. And in medicine, cures for disease, example, rosy periwinkle, we use to treat Hodgkin lymphoma, who 25% of prescription comes from plants. In ecotourism, a source of income for many countries, example for Costa Rica and maybe our country, Indonesia. Biodiversity loss means the loss of genetic diversity provided by wild relative of domestic plants and animals. The biggest enemy from rare plant is the first of all habitat loss and degradation are the leading the threats. Introduction of alien species, some of the words include cats and rats, green crabs, zebra mussels, the African tulip tree, and the brown free snake. Introduction of alien species can happen variability or unilaterally, for example, by organism hitchhiking in containers, ships, cars, or soil. Overexploitation, resource extraction, hunting, and fishing for food, pets, and medicine threatens many species. And the threat is pollution and disease. Climate change induced by humans is increasingly recognized as one of the most serious threats. Climate change has many effects from altering migration species patterns to causing coral bleaching. This is the example from the threat to rare biodiversity of uh, plants. Deforestation pressure like livestock, large-scale agriculture with small agriculture uh, deforestation, unsustainable logging, pulp plantation, fires, cargo and fuel wood mixing, infrastructure, and hydroponic power. This is the biggest threat to threat the biodiversity of plants. And how to save plants approach to plant conservation. There is the three steps or three chains to save the plants. First of all is in situ conservation. It is the conservation of species in the natural settings, allowing us to maintain natural system and processes. The second is ex situ conservation, is the conservation of species removed from their natural settings, safeguarding the plants even if the natural habitat are destroyed or the population decimated. This also allows the possibility of restoring degraded natural systems. And the last is sustainability of land use. And generally, sustainable living is ultimately necessary if we are to ensure the long-term conservation of our natural resources. At present, we do not properly value the many benefits of our natural resources. So, our activity tend to deplete and degrade them, even though they are essential for humankind's survival and well-being. Well, the global strategy for plant conservation grew out of the conservation on biological diversity and is being fit into government policy grown around the world. The global strategy for plant conservation has five main objectives. The first is plant diversity is well understood, documented, and recognized. Second, plant diversity is urgently and effectively conserved. Third, plant diversity is used in a sustainable and equitable manner. Fourth, education and awareness about plant diversity, its role in sustainable livelihoods and importance to all life on Earth is promoted. And the last, the capacity and public engagement necessary to implement the strategy have been developed. The global strategy for plant conservation includes of 16 targets for conservation to be achieved by 2020. The loss of biodiversity, the world has over 50,000 edible plants. Just three of them, rice, maize, and wheat, provide 60% of the world food energy intake. Of these 50,000, only a few hundred contribute significantly to food supplies. Although there are over 10,000 species in this Gramineans like cereal family, few have been widely introduced into cultivation over the past 2,000 years. Cereal are high in carbohydrates, so they do provide energy, have low to moderate protein, but are low in micronutrients, often poor quality and over-processed. Loss of genetic diversity. Food Agriculture Organization estimate that 75% of crop varieties have been lost during the last 1,000 years. One third of the 6,500 domestic livestock raised are in danger. The genetic erosion of crops of livestock threatens food security. The last transgenic crops can cause the loss of traditional crops with relative and center of origin due to genetic contamination. Species conservation like species assessment, ex situ conservation, and endangered species reintroduction and management. Ecological restoration. This is sustainable use of natural resource has endangered natural environments and threatened plant diversity worldwide. Like Mahatma Gandhi said, what we are doing to the forests of the world is but a minor reflection of what we are doing to ourselves and to one another. The pohon langka Indonesia. Penetapan pohon-pohon itu didasarkan pada 4 kriteria. Pertama, kelangkaan, keterancaman, nilai manfaat, dan pelestarian. Daftar Merah International Union for Conservation of Nature mencatat ada lebih dari 487 jenis pohon di Indonesia yang terancam punah. Sisanya masih banyak yang belum diketahui. Forum Pohon Langka Indonesia mengusulkan perhatian terhadap 12 jenis pohon langka di Indonesia pada September 2017. 4 jenis critically endangered, 1 jenis genting endangered, 2 jenis rentan vulnerable, dan 5 jenis lainnya belum dilakukan penilaian. Berikut merupakan beberapa foto dari spesies pohon langka di Indonesia, seperti sebangkui, Baccarosea Baccaurera macrocarpa, hakam, Eloidoxa comparata, buah tapas susu, patikala atau Erligera elatior, kakalik atau belimbing darah, Bacquarea angulata, cempedak atau Artocarpus campenden. Pohon langka dan status konservasi. Menurut jurnal Langas Bras, Dipterocarpus cinereus yang disitasi dari jurnal pada November 2019. Langan Bras tercatat secara alami hanya tumbuh di Pulau Mursala, Kabupaten Tapanuli Tengah, Sumatera Utara. Pada tahun 1998, International Union Conservation menyatakan bahwa jenis ini telah punah. Tahun 2012, ekspedisi tim kebun raya Bogor, LIPI menemukan kembali jenis ini di Pulau Mursala dengan status critical endanger atau CR. Yang kedua, Dryobalaenops sumatraensis. Dryobalaenops sumatraensis adalah pohon asal Indonesia, Malaysia, serta Brunei Darussalam. Pohon ini tumbuh pada hutan dataran rendah dan hutan Dipterocarpa yang berada di dekat pesisir. Dryobalaenops sumatraensis terus mengalami penurunan populasi. Ancaman yang menjadi faktor utamanya adalah penurunan kualitas dan luas area habitat, terutama di Pulau Kalimantan. Jenis ini terancam juga oleh eksploitasi kayu untuk memenuhi permintaan pasar internasional. Di Indonesia sendiri, jenis ini sangat terancam karena menjadi target utama untuk pembuatan kamfer. Selanjutnya, keystone species atau spesies kunci. A keystone species is a plant or animal that plays a unique and crucial role in the way an ecosystem functions. Without keystone species, the ecosystem would be dramatically different or cease to exist altogether. Next is, what effect do keystone have on an ecosystem? Keystone species maintain the local biodiversity of an ecosystem, influencing the abundance and types of other species in a habitat. Defining characteristic of a keystone species is that it fills a critical ecological role that no other species can. Without its keystone species, an entire ecosystem would radically change or cease to exist altogether. A species that is considered a keystone in one environment might not be considered the same in another. It might not be the largest or most plentiful species in an ecological community, but if a keystone is removed, it sits of a chain of event that turns the structure and biodiversity of its habitat into something very different. Native to the Sonora Desert of the southwestern United States and northwestern Mexico, the saguaro cactus is a keystone species that provide critical nesting spots for birds like red-tailed hawks and woodpeckers, the latter of which pack new nest hole each year, leaving old hole for other birds. Saguaro cacti serve as an important source of sustenance. Blooming flowers feed bats, birds, and bees, while their fruit, which ripens when the desert is at its driest, is often the sole wet food source for myriad mammals, insects, and other species. Next is pohon ara. Though a plant, the fig tree is a keystone species. It is a food resource for both the animal and bird. Its leaves are edible to animals, but its fruits that are mostly sought after. This fruit, present in all season, provides food during the dry season when there is no food for the animal. As such, without the plant and no things, then a number of birds and animals would disappear from the ecosystem. Fig tree or ficus are often ecological significant keystone species. They sustain the population of the many seed-dispersing animals that feed on their fruits. They are prominent components of riparian zones where they may also contribute to bank stability as well as supporting associated animals. Strategi dan rencana aksi konservasi. Penetapan pohon-pohon itu didasarkan pada 4 kriteria: kelangkaan, keterancaman, nilai manfaat, dan pelestarian. Dari kriteria tersebut disusunlah 3 skala prioritas. Prioritas pertama merupakan kategori kritis yang menuntut untuk segera dilakukan konservasi. Pohon endemik dengan sebaran sempit dan kategori ini seperti Dipterocarpus litotaris, Dipterocarpus cinereus, Vatica bantamensis, dan Vatica javanica ssp, javanica akan punah dalam waktu terdekat. Prioritas kedua termasuk jenis pohon yang mendesak untuk dilakukan konservasi dengan tingkat keterancaman tinggi seperti ancaman kepunahan dan terus berlangsung. Spesies seperti Sorea javanica dan Triplobanops aromatica masuk dalam prioritas ini. Prioritas 3, sebaran pohon endemik masih terbilang cukup luas tetapi punya tingkat keterancaman yang tinggi. Spesies-spesies ini antara lain Exidoroxylon juageri, Anisoptera costata, Sorea pinanga, Durio oxyloianus, Durio graveolens, dan Castonapsis argentea. Demikian pemaparan materi konservasi tumbuhan langka dari saya. Semoga materi yang saya sampaikan dapat dipahami dan bermanfaat bagi kita semua. Untuk atas perhatiannya, saya ucapkan terima kasih banyak. Saya Zepanya Sihombing, undur diri.